Hello everyone. Yesterday or in previous video I will discussed about chemical bond, types of chemical bond and how these types of chemical bonds are formed. We found that in a compound there is attraction force between atoms. That attractional force is known as chemical bond, and the chemical bond is formed by transfer of electrons or by sharing of electrons. If there is transfer of electrons from one atoms to another atoms in compound, then the chemical bond is called electrovalent bond. And if there is sharing of electrons between the atoms in the compound, the chemical bond is called covalent bond. And also about how we draw a structure, electronic structure for formation of a chemical bond. And here today we discuss about common structure of a bonding in different compound. As for example, here we take some chemical compounds and then describe how chemical bond formation takes place and what is the nature of that bond. As for example, draw bonding structure in the following given compound. As for example, calcium chloride, oxygen, ammonia, carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, chlorine, etc. And here today we draw bonding structure in these all compounds and then we describe about its nature. At first compound here given calcium chloride. In calcium chloride we found that one calcium and two chlorine is bonded by chemical bond. Calcium is electropositive and metal. Chlorides are your non-metals. And we know that if bonding formation takes place between metals and non-metals, then the chemical bond is called electrovalent bond. And from this structure we know that the bond form is your electrovalent bond. And then we draw a structure like in calcium, in first cell 2 electrons are found. In second cell 8 electrons are found. In third cell, according to octet rule, 8 electrons are found. In fourth cell here 2 electrons are found. And here we found chloride are there. In chlorine, in first cell 2 electrons are found. In second cell 8 electrons are found. And in third cell 7 electrons are found. And here 2 chlorine is there, therefore we have to draw 2 chlorine. In first cell 2 electrons, in second cell 8 electrons, in third cell 7 electrons. Here, to complete octet state, calcium has to lose 2 electrons and 1 electron transferred to that calcium atom and another electron to next calcium atom. And in this way, octet of calcium get fulfilled. It becomes Ca++ because 2 electrons are lost. And chloride gain, each chloride gain 1 electrons and Cl minus minus, and which can be described as Ca++ plus 2Cl minus, that gives calcium chloride is formed. In this way, we can explain bonding structure of electrovalent compound. Your transfer of electron takes place from metal to non-metals. After that, next is oxygen. And now we draw bonding structure of oxygen. In oxygen molecule, 2 oxygen atoms are present, and it is diatomic molecule also we can write. In diatomic molecules, there is sharing of electrons takes place between these 2 atoms, and here second example is here oxygen molecule denoted by O2. Oxygen O is non-metal, therefore what we confirm that covalent bond is present there. And here we draw only valence electrons to explain sharing. Oxygen having 6 electrons or 6 valence electrons, in its valency of oxygen is 2, and 2 electrons are shared with another oxygen atom. 2, 4, 6. Now 2 oxygen atoms are there. It needs 2 electrons to complete electron here. It needs both oxygen needs here 2 electrons to complete octet. And due to that reason, both oxygen share 1 pair of electrons to complete octet state, and the bond formation is here O2 molecule. Similarly, in another diatomic molecule, chlorine also we can draw by same way. In chlorine, 2 chlorine atoms are found, that is represented by Cl2, and to explain bonding structure, there is sharing of 1 pair of electrons takes place. Why? Because chlorine having 1 valency, and here we draw chlorine having 7 valence electrons. In chlorine, outermost shell contains 7 electrons. It needs 1 more electron to complete octet. And here we draw 7 valence electrons in both chlorine atom. And when both share 1 electrons or 1 pair of electrons shared between the chlorine, then octet of both chlorine get fulfilled, and it forms Cl and Cl, that is called Cl2 molecule. And in this way, covalent bond formed between here chlorine molecule. Now the remaining is ammonia, carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide. And here we draw respectively molecular structure of these compounds. First, second, third and fourth example is here ammonia. Molecular formula of ammonia is NH3. It means what? 1 nitrogen and 3 hydrogen is in ammonia. Nitrogen and hydrogen both are non-metals, therefore the bond formation is covalent bond, and that covalent bond formed by sharing of electrons between nitrogen and 3 hydrogen, and number of nitrogen is less, and here nitrogen is central atom. 3 hydrogen are there, and nitrogen contains how many valence electrons? 5 electrons in its outermost shell, and 3 hydrogen are there. Therefore separately we write here 3 electrons, and in one side remaining 2 electrons. Here 5 valence electrons found in nitrogen, and then hydrogen, 3 hydrogen here we put, and hydrogen having only 1 electrons. So when hydrogen shares 1 electron from nitrogen, or each hydrogen share 1 electron from nitrogen, then duplet of hydrogen complete, and nitrogen share 3 electrons from, we are given every 1 electrons from every hydrogen, then octet of nitrogen complete, and that bonding is like a NH3 molecule or ammonia molecule, NH3 molecule, and the bond formation is covalent bond. Similarly, we draw now carbon dioxide. In carbon dioxide, 1 carbon and 2 oxygen is there. Carbon and oxygen both are non-metals, therefore also here which bond is formed? Covalent bond is formed. Fifth, we draw carbon dioxide. In carbon dioxide, 1 carbon and 2 oxygen is found. Number of carbon is less, and here carbon is called central atom, having more number of valence, and also here it share electron with oxygen. At first we draw carbon. Carbon having 4 valence electron, and 2 oxygen are found in either side of carbon. Why? Because oxygen having 2 valency, therefore carbon share 2 electrons from each oxygen atom, and now oxygen also share 2 electrons with carbon atoms, and in this way octet of carbon completed, and remaining electrons of oxygen are 2, 2, 4. In this way 6 electrons of oxygen, that 6 electron is of that oxygen, carbon having 4 electrons, valence electron only here we write, and carbon share 2 electrons from each oxygen. Oxygen share 2 electrons from carbon, and in this way, listen here, carbon oxygen double bond is formed, and which is called CO2 molecule, and bond is formed by sharing of electrons between carbon and oxygen, and it is covalent bond. Which type of bond? COB, covalent. In calcium chloride, 1 metal and 2 non-metals, that is electrovalent, and in the rest all non-metals are only found, therefore it is covalent bond. After last one is hydrogen sulfide. By same way we can draw molecular structure or molecular picture of hydrogen sulfide. In hydrogen sulfide, 2 hydrogen and 1 sulfur is there. Hydrogen and sulfur both are non-metals, that is which bond is formed here? First we write name hydrogen sulfide, H2S. Both are non-metals, therefore here the bond formed is covalent bond, and central atom is sulfur. 2 hydrogen lies on both sides of sulfur, and sulfur having 6 electrons, valence electrons, and here we draw 2, 4, 6. Hydrogen having 1 valence electrons. Hydrogen share 1 electron of sulfur to complete duplet. Sulfur share 1 electron of each hydrogen to complete octet, and in this way H bond or H2S molecule exists. It is covalent bonding structure. But in coordinate bond we found that both bonds are present. Simple covalent bond also found there, and only one-sided sharing, that is coordinate bond, also present. We discuss more about explanation related to molecular structure in a next video. Thank you.